You are listening to the Crow Strong Podcast, a native podcast focused on getting strong physically, mentally, and spiritually, ultimately to help you become the strongest and healthiest version of yourself. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to the Crow Strong Podcast. I am your host, Bryan Singer. Be sure to check out the website, crowstrongpodcast.com. The podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, Google, and pretty much every podcast platform out there. But if you don't have any of those, all of the episodes will be available on the website. If you would like to contact us with any comments, concerns, or have any recommendations for future episodes, you can do that through the website, crowstrongpodcast.com. Also, the Crow Strong Podcast has a YouTube channel up and ready. Check that out for all the latest episodes. I do plan on going live regularly through the YouTube. And also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and now Twitter for all the podcast updates. Today, I am here in the heart of the Crow Reservation, the Valley of the Chiefs, Lodgegrass, Montana. With me today, I have two very special guests, two individuals that grew up here and are rooted in the town of Algie, leaders, visionaries, world changers. I'd like to welcome you, Gary Stevenson, a business and technology teacher here at Lodgegrass, and is also the head coach for the Lodgegrass High School girls basketball team.
Hey,
how's it going, Gary?
Thanks for having us.
And my second guest is the Gear Up Youth Liaison and is the two-time Montana Coach of the Year and head coach for the back-to-back state champion Lodgegrass Indian boys basketball team. None other than my good friend Josh Stewart.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Glad to be here with you guys.
It feels like an honor.
It is an honor.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Yep. It's an honor to have you guys on, man. Big time. For real. So, maybe, we can kind of get into a little bit of intros. You know, you guys can just paint a picture of your background. You know, what do you guys do here at Lodgegrass?
All right. Well, I'll go first. So I'm the business and technology educator here at the high school. I teach 7th through 12th grades. Also, I coach the girls basketball program. I got into education because of my desire to coach. It didn't start off that way initially.
Yeah.
The vision from God. And now I'm here almost 10 years later, right where this board right here, I actually saw myself in a vision, and the board was on this side of the room, and I was instructing on there in a suit and tie when I knew. Yeah. It was right after I got saved in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just knew, hey, I'm going to be a coach and a teacher, because I was going into finance. I wanted to work on Wall Street or something like that.
Yeah.
But I had no passion for it. I had no drive to really do that, But once I knew this was it, the world opened.
Yeah. You're rooted here in Algie. Your dad owned the IGA, right? The store?
Yes, 4 generations.
Yeah.
Over 100 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the one in Hardin too, right?
Yeah, my uncle owned that one. They opened that one back in early 80s.
Okay.
I think 82.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. 39 years ago.
Rest in peace to my uncle.
Okay.
He passed away, good man.
How about you, Josh?
I was born in Sheridan, Wyoming. There was 17 inches of snow on the ground. Born in January, then grew up around here, and I think growing up during our era, which was ending the last century, 20th century, there was a lot of push for keeping our culture strong. So it was a lot of warrior stories and whatnot. I don't hear them as much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what I'm trying to do. Just how we were raised, and you hear the stories of just your great grandfathers who heard it from their parents that were just right there, So I just always kept that mindset. And I think, just growing up around here, basketball was everything. And I wanted to be a good basketball player. I was fortunate to have good people around me, especially my uncles, Carson Yellowtown and Byron Benz. Just got a lot of those old school teachings, the basics, the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And they always worked. I try to tell some of my cousins and friends, oh, hey, we can't just shoot an off balance shot like that all the time. And they were like, why not? Allen Iverson does. And I'd be like, he's the exception though. He's 1 in a billion, Jordan, those guys. Every now and then we have to follow rules, and they would argue with me, but my uncle just said, play the game the right way, and he would teach me all the little basics. I would say a lot of technical skills from your basic fundamentals into technical skills, pretty solid. And my Uncle Carson just gave me the mindset. Same thing. The simplicity of basketball was there. It's just being tough all the time and going to where they're not, being solid, boxing out and rebounding, things that he loved to do when he was playing.
Yeah.
And then he would have me run hills in the mountains where they live at the foot of the Bighorns there in Lodgegrass Creek. We'd go run these big hills and whatnot. And then they would teach me to play the game the right way. And then obviously there was a three-peat Indians. I'm 9, 10 years. And then I want to be like those guys. I want to be like Elvis. I want to be like Amigo Jefferson, Everett Howe. I want to, and then obviously Gordon, he'd seem like a superstar walking everywhere. I'd be like, wow, that's Gordon Roberts. Someday I'm going to play for him. Yeah. And he leaves. So I had no reason to stay. I left. But my high school coach taught me more. I got to college. It was just like an explosion of information that I didn't even have a clue about. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And then from then we did some camps and whatnot. And I just loved working with the kids and just teaching them those same fundamentals that I learned growing up. And then the high school kids, since I got more advanced training and teaching from our coaches, it was fun working with them, and then I'd come home and help some coaches. My uncle was coaching, and then others would call me to help with like a defense, or what are you going to do in this situation facing this kind of defense, and I would just basically consult. I just loved it. I had a blast, and I took my college playbook everywhere.
Yeah.
And I would just go through it. So I had information to share all the time.
Right.
And then it just stayed with me. And then helping with little guy basketball, developing my son and daughter, and then coaching at Skyview as an assistant. And this came open.
Yeah.
It's the right time with the right crew of not only coaches, but players, staff and faculty, teachers, the admin. It's just a kind of a good atmosphere right now in the community as well. Quincy, the mayor, and everyone else that's been in the community, Kaseja and Tough. And I don't want to get into naming names. There's a bunch of people who are not named that we're here because of their prayers. Like those old grandmas, Kales and moms that, pleaded for so we're here because of them, really.
Exactly. That's good, man. That reminds me of myself too. Like, when I was in college playing football, it was like a crash course on football. I mean, it's meetings and practice and workouts, and I really developed, this, work ethic through that. And it kind of led on into like work and coaching and everything else. And yeah, I remember keeping my playbook, my big old 3-ring binder, had all my notes in it. And then when I coached high school football and junior high football, it was like I carried that with me like everywhere.
Yeah.
And the fundamentals, like you can't get away from the fundamentals.
Right.
Like that's really the foundation. Fundamentals. Yeah. Those are the things that need to be taught.
Yeah.
Especially at young ages.
Josh, you talked about it was the right time. And then for you in your podcast, at one point there was a right time, or I'm just going to do it. What were your guys's, this is the right time? Like, what was it that the time is now?
That's huge, because I actually always thought of that. There's actually a word in Revelation, and he says, he talks about those candlesticks who will be removed and replaced, from their position. The word there is topos, or position of opportunity. I feel like that's what we're in, and, I thought of that, and I just people, you're at Skyview, and they, Kevin has done amazing things with Skyview, came in and just immediately
Kevin Morales.
Yeah. Kevin Morales, 4-time state champion coach, and, just awesome to have in your corner, a brother, friend, mentor. But he brought me along over there. So others that built my influence around here even more. Hey, you should coach at Lodgegrass. Or even before, just coming out of playing college basketball in Ohio, people were like, hey, you should coach at Lodgegrass. And I would go check it out, and I would be like, what's going on? I mean, I feel like just what Lodgegrass always meant to me, I didn't see it out there. And it would almost be, I mean, not to, I don't know. I felt like it deserved more, the program deserved more than to have a coach out there with his hat on and his regular basketball shoes and, his regular t-shirt. I'm like, come on, man.
Raising the standard.
Yeah, let's raise the bar here. Let's, and I'll be like, well, hopefully they still do good. Hopefully I always rooted for Lodgegrass, always, but I just felt like, and our biggest thing here is these 3 C's: character, competence, and connection. My character wasn't up to this, to be that, I would have been probably worse than any of those guys I saw. And when they would ask me, you should coach at Lodgegrass, I just felt like, no, man, I got a lot of things going in my life. Whether it was stuff I was ashamed of, mistakes, sins that I did not bring before the Lord, at that time, and I just kind of threw under the carpet.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt like I knew those would come up. So it's like, no, I can't coach there. And then all that stuff it eventually did. And I felt like after going through that fire, I said, okay, I've gotten to this place now. I feel like I could do it. If the opportunity pops up, the topos, position of opportunity, you know, and sure enough, it did. And then I just was like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. And then I put my plan together, and one of the school board members said, what would you do if you were offered the head coaching job? I said, I'm not going to do that, because my uncle, I love him, and I'll never jump over him. And my uncle called and said, hey, I'm going to be too busy. I won't be able to do that. I got a lot of work, and they deserve someone to be there full time. And I think it's your time, you know. And
that's Junior Reelburn?
No. And Junior did great things too, but it was Byron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I came in to work underneath him, and then he said, I'm not going to be able to. And I believe it's your time. And he basically gave me a blessing, kind of pushed me forward, which he's always done since I was little.
Yeah.
And it was perfect that it was him. And then I just right then knew, and I already had a lot of my stuff together anyway. And then I just said, okay, here's what I would do. Boom, 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 boom. Immediately just go this direction, and we won't look back. So that's when it was, Gary. I felt like I got that. That was the moment. I was like, okay, let's go do this. And immediately I felt like before I was nervous, and the moment I stepped into it and it happened, confidence came in, and I know it was God.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't an arrogance. It was just straight humility every step of the way. But I felt like there was some competence in there. Like, I know where we're going. I know how to get there. And if you guys buy in and let us do this thing, we can do something special. And that was the feeling I had immediately.
That was, well, Coach, what was one goal that you came into the summer with that, you know, you had one goal to hit with the boys program?
One goal with the boys, I think it was just to keep that togetherness, because COVID, we just lost that.
Man,
there was like nothing.
That was hard.
And I think it was just trying to stay in touch. And so most of the boys, especially the core, kept in touch. And I mean, we played, and a lot of them, as long as they were playing, and I wanted to get bigger, but we're kind of late on that. But right now we're doing that. You know, I'm just getting fit, right, and eating right, and making right choices as individually, but as a group to grow. So I felt like we had some, the ones that I was worried about were actually contacting me the most, and I'm thankful. I love all of them. And one of them scared me and said, Coach, I'm going to transfer. I just want you to be the first to know. It's nothing. I feel like this is an opportunity. And then he said, I saw him walk into school. I was like, hey, you're here. I seriously lit up. My heart just started soaring again. He was back off the ground.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm still trying to decide, Coach. I was like, hey, either way, I support you.
He's like, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach.
Yeah, for real. with that, but with him, I just know he's a hard worker. He showed up to everything all summer.
Yeah.
And when he said, I'm gonna transfer, I just immediately said, go show him how to do it.
Yeah.
Go shift the culture over there. Go show them how to work, because over here like with our boys, we redefined what hard work was. And from here on out, they know anybody else's hardest day is their warm up.
Yeah.
And that's how hard we work. We like take it to that intense level, and we take it a little bit higher. And then when we're almost dead and just like, okay, I think we're done now, we take it a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And then after that, we dismiss, we're good. And then we do heart drills. They all stay for those too and go extra, you know, and they'll be running the balconies, getting on the row machine and the heavy ropes, and just going further, the bleachers, touching the wall, wall sits for 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 1 minute. I mean, it's just intense. And then we work on our system, do all the technical stuff, the teachings, but it's insane. It's crazy that, but when he was going to go, I was like, show him how to do that. Cause we know nobody else is doing that. We're going to take it higher, go show him how. And I wasn't like, oh crap, don't do this, leave that playbook, whatever. And like, I support you. That's just how, it's how it is here. We want to love all of our players, every last one of them, you know, give them make this the best experience they've ever had in basketball. That if they do, when they go to college, if they do play basketball, they might be like, man, it was a little bit tougher at Lodgecraft. You know, it might have been. Hopefully they go to a good quality program where they take them higher, but we want to do that here. Give them the best experience possible.
Yeah. And prep them for college.
Absolutely. In life. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing, is just try to get them ready for life with our practices and over stuff and all that that thing that just caught fire, and all that is to develop them as young men, you know, and we talk about healthy dating versus toxic dating and how to be solid as a man. All those things we talk about, chores and carrying your weight, you know, learning to do that on your own. But it's fun.
Cause like when you get to college, it's such a culture shock no matter where you go. And there's like so much, like I said, like meetings upon meetings upon meetings and film.
Full-time job.
I mean, and then you got class and you have to do all your homework and study for tests and write all these super long essays. And it's just overwhelming a lot of the time. So,
cause you're on your own and you don't have anyone waking you up and pushing you. Like you got to do it on your own.
Yeah. Yeah,
you got to wash your own clothes now.
Right.
And,
cook your own food. And,
do all the chores and stuff. Yep. Yeah. And then make sure you complete all these deadlines and get your schooling paid for and get your books. And, you know, it's huge. I think a lot of players come out of here and they're ready physically, right? Gifted. You know, they got the physical ability. They got it up here to play the game, but that's the part that's just too shocking for them. So to see that you guys got that going now, and then plus, like, you guys got a really strong core. Like, your guys as seniors now, when I coached, that first year I coached in 2013, I took over for the junior high football program, and I was only their coach for like 3 weeks, which was an awesome 3 weeks. You know, and we ended up winning the SEAC championship and everything. But so your guys as seniors now were fifth graders then. Yeah. And so I have a lot of them on Facebook just because of that time, you know, they all added me on Facebook and then all the kids have their, you know, it was really fun, you know, and then like, so I've been kind of watching them through the years and stuff.
We came here, remember?
Crazy. Yeah, that's
right.
We
took all those pictures back here. He had his NFL gear.
Yeah. They were wearing his jersey and his helmets and stuff. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I just clicked that. We had that moment.
What year was that? 2013?
2013.
Yeah. Then Jay and them called the high school game that time, didn't they? They did something on the radio or local.
Yeah.
Like it was like I don't know what the radius was, but they were just getting some local for people that couldn't make it and elders and whatnot. But we hung with you guys. That was a blast. That was awesome.
Changed a lot of their lives. I feel like, man, there's a lot of them, like they're just little kids too,
right?
Coming over and just having fun with you and tough, you know?
I gotta look up that picture and see who's all in there.
Yeah.
I know we took one and I think I posted it back then.
Yeah, that's right. I think we took one where we all jumped at the same time or something.
Yep.
Yeah. But
sweet.
So like when I see that, like a lot of them I still have on Facebook, and then like it'd be summertime and usually they're just out having fun in the summertime. But you see kids like DC Stewart and Damon Grovon and Ty Moccasin, they're tagging each other and say, let's get to practice, you know, let's get to this, you know, and they're doing their own activity and stuff. And during the summertime, you know, I was like, man, that's so awesome, you know, because you don't ever really see that. Like I've never seen that like in the past for past teams, you know, so to have like a good, strong core of kids that are committed to getting each other better as well as themselves, you know, pushing each other. Sometimes it's hard to like speak up and say, hey guys, let's get to practice. Yeah. You know,
and I'm fortunate there because that core has been dreaming of this since they were little. Along the way, just gathering information from people who have done it on that high level and said, okay, here's what we got to do. And they stayed in the game, they stayed growing, and they're all coachable. And what's crazy, what's amazing is everyone thinks, well, this senior class is going to be gone. What is Oshkosh going to do? Well, we're going to keep building. Yeah. You know, we're not going to win every year, and everyone knows that, but we're going to do our very best to build solid young men. And that group coming behind this senior group is going to be solid. And I don't get any naming names, but golly,
there's a lot of promise.
Yeah,
really.
Lance,
boys and girls,
Chiefy, the Junior, and James Brown.
Good junior high.
Got a good junior high crew coming up. Yeah, and Desmond Archita.
Oh yeah,
a champion Indian relayer.
Yeah, okay,
good, amazing little athlete. Not little no more, but I've known him since he was little. You know, now he's above me now, and he's just always respectful, and he just wants greatness. And I love talking to him. And of course, Jaden's his big brother Dice has been an amazing, probably now the toughest player to me in the state. And as far as physicality and
that
quickness
game
off the feet.
Was it against Hunley? Man, he had like 20-something points.
He had like 22 or 24 or something like that.
He just dominated down low. I was like, oh my God. It seemed like he doesn't know his potential, you know, like his unlimited potential because he's the size and everything, you know.
Yeah. And he's been, what's crazy is at first I wasn't sure if he would get it. Just, on A lot of those kids, I think that is he going to get the system. After all, he's teaching it, and I could see almost frustration in him because someone will be off timing, and he'll be like, "Oh man, hey, you're going too early in practice." He'll just yell it out. And
he's smart.
Yeah, I'm like,
he's intelligent.
He totally gets.
He
this.
has a basketball mind. Like, when I sit in on their practices and I just observe, I like
he
to
gets
see,
it.
And he does. He'll ask coach questions. You're like, oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, all right. And then he just does it to the T.
Yeah.
He understands it.
Right.
And and that's impressive.
Right.
That's impressive.
And they all push each other. And I tell them, guys, I want you to respect each other by going extremely hard at each other as a brother.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to make you better. We're going to do everything we know to do to fight in this game, but never throw blows, never take it personal. If someone's going hard at you and pushing you and getting you out of position, you fight back for that position. Don't take it personal. He's just making you better because you're going against the best every single night in practice. Then we go out there, and then you know what to do. And a lot of times they showed that, So it's been amazing. I love this program. We'll keep building it, and hopefully we can get Toby Stewart over here. My son. I don't know. He'll be in good hands.
And Kaylee Stewart. Wait, are we? We can't recruiting?
Wait, that's not good.
They're your kids. Okay, off the record.
Off the record, no. But yeah, we can get. I keep saying that. Toby, you coming to launch class? He's like, no, Dad, I'm staying at Skyview. And I know there's a system there, there's a process there, and I told him you got to be patient, and your time will come, but you gotta know the system. And he's like, I know, Dad, I know. So just think about it. And right now he's like, Dad, are your practices hard? He'll be messaging his big brother, DC, first cousin. And he's always amazed at him. He's just a hero to my kids. And I'm thankful, that he's that. Not only my player, but also a nephew. But he always respects me and always says coach and works extremely hard, But, Toby would be like, DC, how hard are your practices? And DC, like, they're pretty dang hard. They're tough. And then we had our one-shot camp, leadership and basketball camp. Yeah. And I said, who wants to do a portion of Lodgecraft? Let's do 5 to 7 minutes of Lodgecraft. And everyone's like, yeah. So Toby was in that camp. And so we did some of the stuff we do, some of our defensive stuff, the drills. And after about 7 minutes, actually one of the players started losing air and they fell. So tough. And then one intended to her. And there's others. And Toby was like, dang, Dad.
Yeah, it's no joke.
And then DC was like, guys, this is nothing. Like, we're not even getting started yet, guys. And they were like, yeah, they were loving it. The Lodgecraft boys and everyone else. It seemed like, they were hanging in there, but you could tell it was like, holy crap, this is tough. And I'm like, guys, that's 5 minutes of our 2 hours, So after that, he was like, Dad, I'd go to Lodgecraft. But then he's like, now he's probably like, before he was 99% Skyview. Now I think he's about 70-30. That's good. We're working on him now. Right. But he's my son, and I'm not, I support him, and if he stays at Skyview, then good hands there.
Exactly.
Yeah, with the girls this summer, I feel last year and the year before when I was the JV coach under Coach McCormick, it was a lot of planting. It was planting. Then this summer we started seeing the growth because COVID, we only had 2 weeks together.
Oh man,
2 weeks, and when you have a new coach, season after season, it's really difficult to get off the ground.
Last season,
last season, and
and not having fall sports, not having that cross country, I feel like that cross country really keeps them in shape and gets them in shape for basketball season too, and not having that there. They were probably running on their own, but it wasn't at a competitive level like cross country would be, so it's going to take a little while to get in shape. You know what I mean?
Yes. If you're not in shape coming into the season,
right.
You're
especially with what we're trying to build, like the champion minds, like champions are built in the off season, and it's
the most important season.
Yeah. And I think for the most part, they get it and, they do it. Yeah. I'll get messages from players and just saying, Coach, I'm getting started, especially the main, like the guys who are up there getting all state and all that. They weren't just handed those.
Right.
Those, they'll be like, Coach, I'm over here running or I'm lifting, and it'd be like 5:30 in the morning, and I won't even get it till like 7 or 8, and I'll look at it and like, wow, this was sent an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, and they're already working, and I'm like so proud. And so, but yeah, it's a blessing. They know that's the time to build it. You show up to the season, it's too late.
Yeah, even now from the summer, when we're doing 2-a-days, the girls showing up.
Yeah.
And, I wanted them to be in the level up, best shape of their life.
Yeah.
So the weight room too. So we did 2-a-days, shooting in the morning, team practice, and then weight room.
Yeah, you guys were at it.
So we did weight room after practice, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
It's going to pay off.
And then Tuesday and Thursday we did speed and agility, plyometrics, injury prevention stuff.
Yeah.
And now though it's carried over into the fall because those girls, they seen what working hard is going to do.
Yep.
When you put the effort in and you sacrifice your personal time, your summer,
Yeah.
and the ones that showed up, they're in cross country now, or they're in volleyball, or they're in both.
All these sports is filled with athletes now.
It is. Yeah,
it's crazy
because they want to continue that because they know, like, I can't stop. I can't.
Yep.
Summer season's over. So I have girls messaging me, Coach. Are you going to the weight room?
Yeah.
Jordan just hitting the weight room hard.
That's
and
awesome.
and she just told me today she bought a blender so she could take protein. To build her muscle.
That's
So-
awesome, man. Yeah, for real.
And so the girls, seeing them, continue what we did in the summer
yeah.
into now, and it's impressive. I'm happy, and that's they're setting the tone. That's part of the ownership because now the younger girls, they're seeing what these older girls. That's what it's going to take. And we seen a breakthrough this summer with our performance as a team, as a unit. It was a successful summer in my eyes. We competed with some of the best teams, and we stuck with the best of the best. And we still have another level to get to, and we're gonna get there, no doubt in my mind.
Man, you're right though. It is spilling over into all the other sports, like the football game the other night was crazy.
Yeah.
Like that buzz. Not only in the players, but in the whole community. Like, it was just bumping, man. You know, like
people, community members showing up, the cars parked and tailgaters there. A lot of gas.
For me, regarding the girls, I think if they could put 32 minutes together of when they play the game on a high level the right way and get 30, you've seen it last year against Fairfield, that first quarter against Hardin, they put 4 of those together. Unstoppable.
Yeah.
And even though Hardin came back, they are a proven champion program, obviously with a Hall of Fame coach.
Yep.
And that was a growth one for you too, because you took a lot from that.
Yeah.
But you saw how he competed and how he brought that. And they did the system. They did what they were supposed to and just showed what they were capable of. It wasn't a fluke because you've seen it multiple times throughout the year against Fairfield, Forsyth and others, Colstrip. And even the summer, I think you see those spurts now.
Yeah.
The way they're working, and I think this year they will put 32 minutes together by the time we get to the postseason, and we'll see something special, man.
Do it night in, night out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doing it consistently on a consistent basis. And that actually led me this summer personally, mindset training for myself, and to help the ladies, get that. And that, to see that mindset, to them adopt it. The championship mindset.
Yeah.
And the coach over here is home class gym. Ours is level up. You're going to do it or you're not. It gets down, and I encourage the girls, don't just be great at basketball, but be great in cross country or volleyball, be great in track or golf, or if you're in music and you're playing violin, be great at the violin.
Everything you do.
If you're a TikToker, be a great TikToker. You know what I mean?
I always said it as all in, all out. If you're gonna do something, just go all in.
All in or all out.
All in or just all out. One or the other.
Yeah, and I think, and that's even there's people who are in them on the other spectrum, the mediocrity side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're all in with gossip. They're all in with vaping.
Yeah.
They're all in with skipping.
Partying.
They're all in, and so it's like choose greatness every time. And to be, we say this, comfort is the friend of mediocrity, the enemy of greatness. So always choose to stay uncomfortable because that's where greatness is. You know? And it's, you get out of that comfort zone. You get up like those boys and the girls getting up early, doing 2-a-days, 3-a-days, and eating right, staying away from negative people. That's hard. Sometimes they might slip and fall, but they know I got to get up because this is not the way. I want to be all in over here, and I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be great, And so we push that, and we press it, and we teach it consistently. all the time with constant reminders. And they can rattle that stuff off, and that's what they want to be. And that's what we want to push. And not only them to be great there and at home and in the classroom, but for the community members to say, hey, we want to be great too, and so inspire them to be great. And a lot of them already are, but it's others who might be in that comfort zone and say, hey, come join us. Come out of the comfort zone. Choose sobriety, or, have a conversation with your kid that you haven't had before. Tell them you love them and you're proud of them, and just even saying, I'm sorry. Those things will really help, and I think if we can inspire that and bring that, I think that's really the real victory.
Yeah. I was thinking about Quincy's vision that he had about crossing the river or going through the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of like, I feel like where we are, we've crossed it. And there's still others that are still on the other side, that the hurt and the baggage, I guess to say, their experiences.
Unresolved trauma.
So I feel like many of us, we're crossing that river one at a time. There's 2 or 3 of us.
Healing.
They're healing, and there's still others that are on the other side. And we're saying, we're not excluding you. We're over here. Come join us. Come over here to this side.
Yeah.
Come over to the side of God, with God. Which leads to greatness.
Yeah.
We're over here. We're not leaving anybody out. We're not excluding you.
Well, I feel like not only us, but those who have come before us and blazed the trail.
Yeah.
Like it's having to go through those waters, but I think we're helping build a bridge for others to cross.
Yeah.
So it's not as hard. Not saying it doesn't get hard. Life gets hard.
Yeah.
But avoiding pitfalls and avoiding mistakes and just saying, crossing over more smoothly than we did, you know.
There's someone that, plants the seed. There's someone that tills the ground. There's someone that waters it. We all play a different part, and past generations paved that way for our generation. We got to do the same thing with the next.
Yeah, exactly. I even said, I felt like we're reaping where we didn't sow or till, we're just harvesters. Like we're just called to receive abundance of grace.
God gives the increase.
Yep.
Yeah.
One sows, another waters, but God gives the increase.
Neither of those other ones matter. The one that sows or the one that but it's God who gives the increase that matters. And I think, and that's what our whole program is, to give God glory. So that's awesome. That's God that gives the increase. It's really all His work, and it's all about Him, and it's all for Him when it comes down to it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love. I think about this generation right now and what's happening right now in this town, in this community, in this reservation, is that we're starting to see leaders step up, being guided spiritually. It's something that, I don't know, I've never really witnessed it. And maybe people have been, and I'm sure people have been, obviously. But to me, when I came up with the concept of Crow Strong, those old Crow values, it was always being led by a higher power, a Quadadea, seeking visions, like no vitals, seeing a vision of this plant, and that when he finds that plant, that's where God wants us to be, right? And then that's where it begins, the migration story. Right. And, every migration story that I've heard, it wasn't just a quick 1 or 2 years, going all the way around Montana, and some say all the way down to Missouri, and then all the way up. It was like decades, right? And then continuing to listen to that vision and that, until they finally find that plant there in the
Cloud Peak.
Cloud Peak, yeah. This is where He wants us to be. So to be guided by a vision, relentless to, listen to that vision and be guided by that, that's really what it takes. And as crows, like, that's really who we are, is to be guided by that, So to see Quincy the other day be the mayor of the town, and he's being given this vision, and he just goes through with it. Like, that was such a huge moment, I think, for myself, even watching, because how many of us maybe seek a vision, and we got a vision and we kept it to ourselves because we didn't want to be embarrassed, or something kept us from really giving that vision. But to see like guys like you and Quincy being guided spiritually and knowing that your values in the core is like true, the source of why you do this, it's like there's a real purpose behind it. Yeah. It's not just basketball. It's not just, a higher purpose,
right. build the spirit, man. Spirit, soul, basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I've been saying it. Spirit, soul, basketball. Build this inner man first, and then the soul, mind, will, and emotions. Trying to teach that and build it so they have a healthy mindset going into life.
Yeah.
That way they're good fathers and good husbands and good coaches someday. Good leaders of organizations and business owners and whatnot.
Leaders of this tribe.
Exactly.
Leaders of their own house.
Yep.
And
they're going to be too.
Yeah.
They will be.
Yeah.
And just think in 20 years, 10 years, we're going
Yeah.
to look back at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And see where they are.
One of the biggest moments for me as this stuff happens, you hear community members talking about a certain player that used to play for you. Oh, he's
Yeah.
doing this, he's doing that.
Right.
So I just pray, and I don't reach back and say, "Oh, for real? What? Where's he at? What's he doing? What do you know?" Like I don't look for that. I don't buy into it. Like I believe in all my players, and I believe they have greatness in them, all of them. And sometimes they don't like the playing time and stuff like that, but I still believe in them. I mean, it's hard. You can't play 12 players for 32 minutes. There's only 5 spots, and then you get at a competitive level. You're not in there. You're not development. You're in this competitive. You got to win these games. We're here to win these games.
Yeah.
And to win, you got to commit. You got to work hard. You got to show up. You got to practice. You got to be good in school. So that sets you up for winning. Losing, you can smoke, you can drink, you can sleep around, you don't have to have a prayer life. You can get up, sleep in all you want, whatever. You'll always be set up to lose, but winning. So we always say that. So I believe that in all my players, regardless, once they leave here, and it's only been a couple of years, but I love all of them. And one of them that people have been saying this and that, and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, and I didn't reply back to anybody because I don't want to buy into that. I want to always believe in my players. Well, this past weekend, I think it was Thursday or Friday. Might have been Wednesday, middle of the week last week. That player messaged me, "Hey coach, can you give me some verses? Can you give me a book to read? This is where I am in life. I almost slipped into this life, but I want to be great. I want to be a good person. I want to be a good leader. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good husband." I'm like, man, I swear that was the biggest breakthrough and a miracle because I love this young man. He's one of my players, and I love him all like sons, but I know he's got some real greatness in him. And when he messaged me, I'm like, man, this is what it's all about. I felt like that was a big success, and now I'm having regular conversations with him and back to being, "Hey, coach, what's going on? Hey, coach, are you having a good day?" And that's just like the most rewarding thing because, it's some people say it's thankless, whatever. I don't feel that. I feel like this is amazing. Even in the hardship and the adversity, it's like, man, I get to do this. Like, this is a blessing.
Yeah. When, I just had a young lady, one of my managers.
Yeah.
She actually one manager, a couple players, to be their reference. One wants to go to the military, one's a job. Another one was for a scholarship. So that's, when they come to me for that, it's one of those rewarding experiences. It's one of the best feelings. And I actually did this about a month ago. I was thinking about a player a manager we had last year, Emily Pease, who's at MSU right now. And I did a reference letter for her.
Yeah.
For a scholarship.
Yeah.
And when I was writing it, it didn't ask about academics. It didn't ask about success, but it asked about habits, character, these things that go beyond the classroom.
Right.
And as I was writing it, I realized, man, this young lady embodies my vision for the Lady Indians.
Yeah. The spirit of what you're trying to build.
Yeah. I was like, man, she's it.
Yeah.
Because I realized, she lost her grandparents. She lost her father, COVID. And here she is, though, coming to school every day. When she needs help with her MacBook, comes over, "I can't get this fixed." She has no excuse. "I need to get this." She communicates, "Coach, I'm not going to be at practice today. I got to feed my steer. I got to take my steer to get shots." I'm like, man, that's awesome. But you know something? I come in the morning, 6 a.m. practice. Guess what? She's already there.
Yeah.
Washing jerseys. Or she's staying late. Her mom, Miss Moccasin, who stays late regularly. I'm out of here at 8. Guess what? She's still staying, cleaning up, washing jerseys, folding, getting stuff ready, getting our bags ready. And when I was writing this, it did bring me to tears. I was like, man, this is a woman right here. This is a Lady Indian. So if you haven't done this yet, write a story about a player. Just pick a player and write a story in the positive light. It was changing because I didn't realize it during the season. You're going and you're just going and you're going and you're going. Now the season's over, and then you get to reflect on this.
Right.
And like, man, greatness it's always there.
Yeah.
But to see that, it really shifted my perspective on things, and it helped me coming into the summer.
Yeah.
With the mindset, and so she ended up getting the scholarship.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so she gets like a stipend every month.
Right. She's fully covered.
Fully covered. I was like, wow. So those things, those humbling moments.
Yeah. When I coached, I was thinking like I wanted to choose one or two players that were, I guess, sort of, I don't know, they weren't as good. Like they didn't really know too much about the game. They weren't physically strong or fast, and like they're kind of lacking in a lot of areas and stuff. And I kind of really take these mental images of them in the beginning of this season. I see them now and how they are and where they're at, like physically, mentally, everything. And I wanted to compare, where they at the end of the season. And that'll tell me how good of a coach I am, like if I'm capable of being a coach. No such thing as a bad student, only a bad teacher.
Yeah.
That's actually Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, that's right. Not the Jackie Chan one.
No, Mr. Miyagi actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I remember seeing that in the Jackie Chan one. And I was like, oh, all right, that's Confucius right there. But I thought about that with coaching too. Like there's no excuse. There's no excuse for me to think that like, okay, they're too far behind because they don't know the game of football. But that's where like I really had to pick up my game and really start pouring into them more than just the X's and O's, more than just the physical stuff in practice. Yep. With football, how much of this game is mental and how much is physical? Remember I talked about this the other night.
Right.
Like everybody's like 85, 90%.
Yeah.
You were saying 99% mental.
Yeah.
I was like thinking like
that's an ocean. Or you know what I mean? Like it's like the universe.
Yeah.
That 99% is pretty big, but so is that 1%.
Yeah.
That 1% still pretty huge.
Big. Yeah. So it's like, what percentage of basketball or football is mental and what percentage is physical? 99% mental, or 85% mental or 90% mental,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if the game is this much mental, 85% mental, then why do we just focus on the physical? We think that, okay, practice comes and goes and that's all we focus on is the X's and O's and the physical part of it. But how much of the mental part do we really pour into? How much of the spiritual part do we pour into?
Yeah. I think basketball is, because we love it and we see our approach, the warrior mindset, it's 90% spiritual. 8% mental, 2% physical. Build that spirit, man, because if you can teach them to be a warrior and get close to God, they'll be fearless, they'll be coachable, and then they that leadership inside builds them, and I think there's several different kinds of coaches. There's the commanding coaches, the command coach who he knows everything. He tells it like it is and won't listen to nobody else.
Yeah.
Then there's the submissive ones, like just throws the ball out and says, hey guys, let's just go scrimmage, have fun, whatever.
21.
Yeah. And it's like, they're just scrimmaging without any teaching. They're just like, whatever. And then they go to the game and they'll probably Google a play or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there's the cooperative one. And I think that's where a lot of our philosophy comes from. And it's just trying to latch on to coaches like that. Like obviously to me, the greatest, Phil Jackson. I know it's arguable, like players and stuff.
Yeah.
But he was a cooperative coach. He gave that system to the players and allowed them. So here's what we're going to teach. And he taught it on a high level and said, now I want you guys to go do it. You make a decision in the game, and so I feel like that's my style.
Yeah.
And and you're talking about that and just like, what kind of coach am I? Am I successful? I don't want to be defined by a banner. I don't want to be defined by, or players, to be defined by wins and losses or banners.
Yeah.
They're great. They're a byproduct of the character building, of the relationship building, which first is God and then us within our group, our team, and then their families, and then the relationships. So those titles are a byproduct. And we don't want them to be defined by that and say, okay, life is over. I want a title. I can throw my life away now. No, you're just building something. That's just what do you call the sign That's just a benchmark.
Yeah.
That you can always look back on and say, I remember that time. It took me to a new level of manhood. You know, that was not the end of me though. That just launched me out into this life I'm living now. And I feel like it's that. And so that cooperative coach, I've allowed a lot of that and just gave our players, hey, for the next 5 possessions, Malachi. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Gonna miss Malachi. Malachi, if you listen to this, I love you, buddy. Smart, coachable.
Yeah.
All right, coach. He just has his hands on the side and he's like, hey, Malachi, do this. Watch for this. There's a mismatch over here. Go ahead and let's cross screen here. Set up Jaden's over there because they're going to try to watch DC, Ty, and Damon over here. And Malachi's, oh, I got you, coach. And then he just sees the system, runs it. Sometimes I'll yell at a play and he sees something else. He'll call it and I'm like, go ahead, just go. And I don't just back off. Yeah. Give them the reins and man. And then, Harden game, Damon was out. Remember he sprained his ankle. He's out a couple weeks. Yeah. They were waiting for the MRI and it was like, please God. But the boys, they're like, Damon, we got you. Man, they all stepped up to a high level. Don't worry, Damon, we got you. And Damon's like, they'll be good, coach. I promise I'll be back. But he's like, I'm not worried. And then he was with me on the bench in that Harden game, and it was like coaching moment. Yeah. Damon, the next time out, you're going to take that huddle. And he just did it. And I'm like, just gave him the board and went. I just let him go, and I just went and drank some water, prayed. I looked back, Damon was handling it, you know. And so that's cooperative coaching. Yeah. That's just allowing your players to fulfill their leadership roles and build them. And it's not just him, it's all of them down the line. Look at Fred. You see his highlight tape? When amazing. and it wasn't like the most athletic player, but his heart, like Gary was saying regarding his players, one in particular, but for me, Fred embodied the spirit of what we were trying to build here. And I remember he was like, Coach, what can I do to be better? How can I improve as a shooter? Coach, do you have any drills for me? Coach, I'm up and at 'em. What do you got? And it was like nonstop. And in the first open gym, when I got hired, I was like, who's that kid? He freaking works hard. It was a couple weeks in. And I still didn't, I got names, but there were so many, I just didn't remember them. So they said, that's Fred, and his dad is, he passed away now. And I'm like, my gosh, I know who that is. So, and from then I just was like, I'm so happy. I just hope he's good in the classroom. I want to add him, but I'm not going to add somebody who's not committed in class. They got all the F's and D's and like that. And I didn't. There was players who were remarkable, crazy talent. But they were missing their first 2 classes, 17 absences, 11 absences, and grades were crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to add this person. And I think there was a little bit of a shockwave in the community, and there kind of was. There's people backlash, whatever, but we're like, we got to raise the bar here. Yeah. So I checked Fred's grades, straight A's. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my first player right there. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to add this kid. He's the character pick because is he the tallest? No. Is he fastest? No. Can he do all the juking and jiving and, create off the dribble? Kind of, but nobody has a heart like Fred, especially when that all started. I mean, they all have heart, and I could say that about all of them. Like nobody has a heart like this kid. And when I look at Fred, he truly embodied it and would constantly reach out to me. And then you look at his highlight, finished with his name on a banner, and I'm like, man, I love watching that highlight because like, man, I'm proud of this kid, and that's all of them. And that just, so that's my style of coaching. And I feel like I won't know that I talked to Coach Erickson, another awesome influence, mentor, friend. When I can, I try to go to him, and he's just been amazing. So helpful. Thank you, Coach Erickson. Appreciate you, Lockwood. But I said, I know we've had success early, but there's more to it. How do you sustain this? And he said, it's just keep building, keep character building, keep with it, stay the course, and then just add what you can. But he said, for me, and this is where I was like, okay, that's when I'll know. He said, for me, it was later down the road. We had good success. We did a lot of great things, but we went deep into tournaments and Class A, Class B. And he said, one of my players came and said, son, coach, can you be my son's godfather? He said, right then I was like, holy cow. I think I succeeded as a coach, so he's like, that was a big moment for him. And that's when I realized that's when we'll know. Like, yeah, we got some banners and stuff, but players go off and just throw their lives away. Then, man, what did I do? Nothing. Yeah,
exactly.
They go out and be champions in life, and they come, like Coach Erickson said to me, and say something like, Coach, can you come to my wedding and do this and do that? Or can you be in my wedding? Or could you be my son's godfather, my daughter's godfather, whatever? Coach, I need you to be at this special event, I'm graduating, getting my master's or my PhD, or starting the groundbreaking for my business building.
Right.
All those things. I think that's when I'll know, when they come and say, Coach, I got the gig. We get to build that bridge. Like my company, I'm the engineer.
Well, that's it, guys. You made it to the end. Thank you for tuning in to the Crow Strong podcast. I am your host, Bryan Singer. Look out for new episodes as I interview a new guest every weekend. At the end of the day, it is my goal to ultimately bring value to you, the listener. Again, thank you for listening to the Crow Strong podcast.